committee recommendations, a contract extension for the Waller Corporation. Craig, do you want to address that?
Yeah.
We have a handout.
If I can, I'll go ahead at the same time give you a quick update on the project. First of all, I'd like to sincerely thank the high school, middle school administration, staff, and students, as well as the central office administration and staff for their unselfish cooperation during this project. That cooperation and understanding has been a major help moving this project forward without serious issue. Again, please accept the gratitude of myself, Waller Corporation, and Alex Restoration. Right now we're down to cleaning, caulking, flashing, and railings here at the middle/high school. We have unit credits for spot brick replacement, sidewalk repair, and spot repointing in the contract that we've not assigned yet. We've done several walkarounds of the building. We're currently reviewing those areas and proposed costs so we may allocate those resources to where they would do the most good. One thing though is we will under no circumstances go over the contract, the original contract amount. So what that is, you know, in the contract, besides the major wall rebuilding and that sort of thing, we put some in there for going around if like down around some of the doorways, or maybe the bricks have been hit and chipped and so on. So we have some unit costs in there to go around and fix some of those items. So what we're doing now is we're trying to decide, okay, now we know where we are in the project. Let's go look and make final determination of where we should, if at all, use that money. Now, one place that we do, we're looking heavily at is the sidewall to the wood shops, back where the greenhouse and so on. But we'll be going over that. Andreas will be going over that with me again tomorrow, and then Monday we'll sit down with Waller and Alex Corporation, and we'll try and get that all finalized so they can keep moving and we can work towards the last of this project. As you know, the original contract was September 30th. They had a little slow start. Some of it is took them a while to get the correct crew on the job. Most of it was more paperwork issues, submittals, and so on, getting stuff approved and that on. So once they got that underway, things have been going reasonably well. I'm pleased with the progress. I'm pleased with the work that they're doing, but we need a little more time to finish, and they're asking for a formal extension of their contract to November 10th. Myself, I don't have a problem with it. You know, and I'm going to ask that you go ahead and approve that tonight. Any questions from anybody?
Was this all the same? When there's some work to do at Blaine?
Yeah, there's Blaine. They're all finished by. Down at Blaine Buffalo, they've done all the demolition that had to be done down there. All the prep work is done, and some of the recaulking is done down there. But we pulled those people to bring them up here to get this done first. So now what we have to do down there is the two end canopies. They have some EFIS that has to go up underneath, and then just the last of the caulking has to be done down there. So down there it's pretty minor work.
The next to the last paragraph, it says, please note this extension of time request does not include what additional time may be required. So if they don't get it done by November 10th, then they're going to want another extension?
We're going to try and finish that by the 10th regardless, because like I say, come Monday when we sit down and work and we look at those unit costs, we're not going to, we've got a fair amount, there's a fair amount of unit credit there, but you know, A, the project's going on, and B, I think we can do what reasonably needs to be done. You know, much more than that, we're talking about starting a whole nother, you know, we don't want to rebuild any more walls or anything like that, but we want to take like over some of the windows where the lintels are in there, need some attention. So, but we feel we get that done by the 10th.
Well, I'd rather them do it correctly and give this extension and
well, there's a
rush through it and walk off the dog.
well, there's a, you know, we're getting to a point where do you stop? You know, okay, if we have some money to replace a few more bricks, do we come back and say, look, we want to go to Thanksgiving so we can get these 50 more bricks done, because there's going to be 100 more after that. So we're trying to balance it out, but since we're getting to the end, we want to kind of formally say, okay, can we have till the 10th to finish this up?
Is the public allowed to comment at this point?
When are they working?
Pardon?
I know they was working today because the fire alarm went off.
Mhm.
But are they're working all during the day? I
Yeah.
never se- Like in the summer, I never seen an afternoon turn.
Well, they did 10s in the summer. They did 10s and they did Saturdays and some Sundays in the summertime. When the days were longer. Now, they didn't do double shifts, but they did do 10s. They did 5, 10, plus that smaller crews on the weekend. Oh, okay. And as we start, we're into this school year now, and we have the facility use. I just have one quick question. I wanted to kind of get a clarification on the policy. And it's number 707-AR, regulations governing use of facilities and grounds. And in number 3, it says, no individual will be permitted to use school facilities for private purposes. I just wanted to kind of clarify that the policy is intended for like booster groups and civic organizations to use the facilities, and private people will be like me for a party or a for-profit group should not be using the facility.
That's correct. That's-
Okay. Okay. That's all. I just want to make sure.
At
If
one
I'm-
time, we had someone wanted to use the gym for a Pilates class. They were charging for Pilates class. We can't have that.
I didn't think so, but I just wanted to clarify that. So,
It's a movie party.
I was hoping to get a discount. So, okay, we may, I may ask that we kind of clarify that a little bit in the future, but I appreciate that. That allows me to know how to, react to the applications I get. Thank you.
Next thing I have for committee is we've got an email this morning from Saffron Valley Campground and Cabins LLC, and they are making a $150 donation to the district to help with the finances for the board, and that is on your committee recommendations if you would like to approve that. The third thing I have, it's budget season. Our index is 3.1%, which under the index would give us about $357,000 additional dollars if we raise taxes to the index. Or we could do, which would be we would adopt the normal resolution that you did in previous years, or we could do an early budget, which would mean we would have to adopt the preliminary budget in January. I just wanted to know if there was a desire to look at the exceptions for the retirement and special ed, or if you wanted to stay with the resolution and just go with the index. We can talk about that next month if you want. If you want, we can, if you want to think about it, we're starting on the budget regardless. But if you want to think about that, we can come back.
Okay, you're saying under whatever act that is, we can go 3 point,
You could raise it 0.3,
point 3.
0.369 is approximate. Not even a mil, but if you can apply, depending on what we have for retirement and special ed costs, you could apply to the state to get approval to go above that with exceptions.
I see.
But in order to do that, we have to do an early budget. If you don't want to do that, we would just adopt a resolution that says we're staying within the index, and then we would move forward the same way that we always did. We're starting the budget process, so if you guys want to think about it until
Yes.
next month, we'll come back and we can ask if we can do the resolution in the December meeting. The budget has, the preliminary resolution would be in January too, but if we can do a resolution in December, which I
If
would.
you do it in January, you have to do it.
You have to do a preliminary budget by January if you want to go above the index.
Right. But if you do that, you're not required to do it.
You're not, no. You mean,
pretty much.
Well, I'm saying
You can keep your options open.
Yeah, it gives you the option.
Right.
Yeah, you don't
If
have
you don't do
to.
it in January, then you can't do it.
Right, correct.
But to clarify, I don't think we've ever
I don't think you've ever applied for
applied for an
exemptions
exemption.
in the past. Did you one?
Did we? I don't remember. I thought we always.
5 years ago.
I
One?
thought we only did 3.
Two people said no?
It was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, we want service.
My memory. But I think, I guess my question would be, do we think we're gonna need this exemptions? You know what I mean, based on, you know, the special ed and the retirement.
There's
Too
too
early.
many. Yeah,
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
and the big. We will start working on the preliminary budget and,
Maybe next time we'll have a little better idea.
yeah. But we just wanted to put it out there so you guys can start thinking about it. The next thing on my list is our copy agreements up in December. We're gonna work this month with the Peplum contracts and try to get some information back so we can renew under state contract and see which company we can get in to give us the best deal on copiers. So if we can get it done for next month, we'll present it next month. If not, we'll bring it back in December. We're gonna try to do that for November. And the last thing on my agenda is the Pepsi and Coke contract. The only change from last month with the proposals is that Pepsi is going to provide 2 additional coolers, one for outside, I believe, at the stadium, and one for inside. All the money items were the same. Pepsi's a 5-year with the $500 annually for Pepsi and $500 for Gatorade. And then the cost per case, the profit to the district would be $2.25 a case and $1.25 for 12-ounce cans. The machines would be 25% plus the coolers and the water. And the Coke contract is a non-exclusive one. They just have a cost per case, and there's 30% for the vending machines. Given that they've provided a lot of support to the athletic programs, Mr. Dalton and I thought that we should stick with Pepsi because we're getting $1,000 a year, plus they provided all the sideline packages for the athletics, and they're doing, I don't know what they call it, but they're doing some kind of Gatorade here. I don't know, Mr. Gomez, what it's called or not.
We're doing some kind of replenishment program, doing some type of athletic, that highlights their product, athletic use of their product and nutrition. Good program, good athletes.
Which brought in, I believe, a huge tractor trailer of Gatorade that they're using for the kids, and that's part of their donation.
So, is there a motion?
It's on there, and we just have to fill it in with either Pepsi or Coke and the number of years, and then everything, I think it says pending, Bill, the solicitor's review, we'll get the contract proposed, and we'll have the solicitor review it, and sign off on it. It's up to 5 years.
So you recommend 5 years? Okay.
And that's all I have for committee. Okay, expansions.
Good evening. We shared a letter with each of the board members. We would like to share the great news from the PA Department of Education. Briefly, McGuffey School District has been found in compliance with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. There are 4 categories that the Department of Education uses. One is meets the requirement and purposes of the IDEA, 2 needs assistance, 3 needs intervention, and 4 needs substantial intervention. We are proud that McGuffey School District performance on the compliance indicators of the state performance plan have been met, as well as McGuffey School District has submitted timely and accurately Section 618 and other data to the state. PDE commends McGuffey School District for the hard work being done to deliver high-quality programs to students with disabilities.
Very good, thank you.
You need lights off. Oh, you need the lights off over there. Regen?
I apologize for my voice. I'll do the best that I can.
The mice can read it.
There's been continued discussion on the psychological and social work services. So we wanted to share some history based on these positions. We first hired a school psychologist in 1991. Mrs. Wright moved, and Mr. Haynes seconded, and motion to hire Joyce Mutier for the 10-month school psychologist. That became a district position at that point. The motion carried by unanimous roll call. The following board members present and voting for that position to be added as a district position. At the time, Mr. Zito was the superintendent and Chal Mahoney was the assistant superintendent. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Mahoney is the executive director at Intermediate Unit 1 currently. Once that position became a district position, it became part of the collective bargaining agreement and remained a district position. The second part of this story is shared services. Shared services at IU1 started around 1998 in an effort to provide a service to districts that didn't quite require a full-time employee in those positions that are hard to staff. So they would hire a full-time employee at the intermediate unit, and then those services and that person would be assigned to multiple districts to equate to a full-time equivalent. The McGuffey School District participated as a member for psychological and social work services since at least 2003. When districts participate in the shared services program with the IU, the intermediate unit retains a percentage of the IDEA funding that is generated through district enrollment and programming. That allocation is retained regardless of how many employees the district would contract through the IU. Given that one school psychologist position was already a district position since 1991, it was not a factor in determining whether we should engage in the transfer of entity that we discussed in the spring of 2015. This is a cost comparison across the 3 years after we did the transfer of entity. If we were to have stayed under the shared services model for those two employees, we would have paid $5,072. We paid $167,828 for the two positions, which saved us $37,243. In 16-17, under the shared services model, we would have paid $224,121. We paid $180,873 for a savings of $43,247. This year, we would have paid $238,500. And we are paying $187,869.08 for a savings of $50,630. So over those 3 years, by doing the transfer of entity, we've saved the district $131,121.48. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
on September 28th. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, they wish to thank you for your 2017 appropriation of $10,000. It would be impossible for the library to continue providing quality services without funds such as yours. Be assured that your appropriation will make a positive difference in people's lives. Again, thank you for considering the library.
That's all you have?
That's all I have.
All right, anything else for committee?
I don't know, I had something, I don't know. I guess this is a good place to bring it up. Do we, I was recently talking to a biology professor, okay, at a college. And my question to him was, I suspect that McGuffey, and it's not just McGuffey, but we send a lot of kids to college, but we don't graduate a lot of kids from college. He actually had a number for me, 53%. Okay? So I said to him, okay, from your end, what do you see? What's the problem, you know? And he was telling me that the big thing is, it's like culture shock. And he says, especially for McGuffey kids, it's a rural school, you know what I mean? His suggestion, and they do this with other schools, is actually start in the middle school, he said. Get them to the colleges so they can look around, let them see a syllabus so they know what's expected when they get there. He said these colleges, now honestly we have several colleges within 40 minutes drive. They are eager to do this because they want to recruit, you know. But he said they'll have the college professors will come in and to the school and talk to kids. And I'm personally, as a parent, as a taxpayer, all of it, if I can send a kid on a little field trip like that in 7th grade and he comes back and he says, you know what, I don't think college is for me. Long before he has to pick VOTEC or he spends a year there and decides he's now $20,000 in debt and don't want to do it and don't get anything for it. So I didn't know, did we do anything like that or could we start something like that?
So part of what we've done, specifically for middle school, has been a career day where people come into the school from multiple professions and schools to share their experiences. Through the echolocation method of grant we recently did, some of our elementary students actually went to California to that report in California. So we have done some events, but we are looking, and here in a month or two, we'll put a Chapter 339 plan that specifically aligns our counseling program with career and college readiness and articulates exactly what we'll do K through 12.
Because it's actually, I mean, I suspect that we are average in this department, and that's sad. But, I mean, there's a whole generation of kids out there with all this college debt and no degrees. And,
I've actually talked to the other superintendents asking about it, digging out our house, so that we could see how many start college and how many are actually finishing. And we've not come up with that record, so I'd be interested in what he was using to determine that 53%.
Yeah. I have contact information.
Yeah, if you give me a call, I appreciate it.
I can remember when I went to college, on the first day, they have a little orientation. You sit there and say, look to your left, look to your right, and two of you aren't going to be here. And that's exactly what happened when I graduated. You know, the freshman class was like 2,000, and there was about 600 people that graduated. And that's the way they design it sometimes.
Yeah, I just think it would be, because by high school, they've already had to pick. If they're gonna take the tech, if they're gonna go to tech school, if they're gonna, you know what I mean, that's too late, you know, and at least let them know, especially for kids whose parents didn't go to college, they have no idea what's expected, you know. And I'm not believe me, if they decide college ain't for me, that's fine, you know what I mean? But it's better to find that out. You can go to college anytime.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. So, and eighth graders don't really, you know, some may, some
Yeah.
may not, but if they're exposed to it,
At least they would have an idea, right? And I don't think it would cost much, honestly. I mean, a couple bus rides maybe, or, and like I said, we have at least 4 colleges within 40 minutes that, according to this guy, they're all eager to get in. You know, they want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest difference to me is, I call it the 80-20 rule. In high school, you're
Can
doing
you turn on your
80%.
microphone? We can't hear you.
The difference to me
Thank you.
between high school and college is what I call the 80-20 rule. In high school, you're doing 80% of your work in the classroom and 20%. But when you go to college, it's the opposite. You're doing 20% in the classroom and 80%.
Well, and
on your own.
that was kind of how this conversation got started. I wanted to know, is it that we're not preparing, or do they get there and not know how to study? Or, you know what I mean? I was just genuinely asking, what do you see in it, you know? And he said, it's just the culture shock type, you know, it's just, they have no idea when they show up what to expect. And that's one guy, but, yeah.
It's not this kind of.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I suspect we're average, you know, but
1995, the reason I know this, Erie Prep, which is the college institute here in Pennsylvania. Every kid of the graduating class went to college. At the end of the 95 year, what I knew was going to WJ with Brett, he was the last sole classmate to still be in college. The rest of them were not. And that's a college that prides itself, a school that prides itself on getting a kid ready to go to college.
Okay, we'll start the regular board meeting at 20 minutes to 7. Take a 10-minute break.